Hey, this is Alex Abran. Thanks for coming back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna share how I went $250,000 into business debt, almost went bankrupt, how I paid it back, scaled my business beyond that, and the lessons I learned from that experience. When I started my company 7 or 8 years ago, I funded it by selling my Mazda Speed 6 2007. I used those funds. It was about 5,000 bucks. I funded the business. Everything was going pretty well. But then this was about 2019 or so. Again, it was going well, but nowhere near my potential or even what I'm doing now in my business. And so I made the decision to take out $250,000 in business debt. And a lesson for you, you see these billionaires, they take out business debt. That is real business debt. If it doesn't work out, they don't go after them personally. But most people like you and I, we don't have access to that debt. And so when you take out business loans, especially from the SBA, you personally guarantee it, meaning if it doesn't go well, you can't just shut down your business and that's it. They can go after your jewelry, your house, your car, anything personally that you own. And so it's a very, very big obligation and liability for a business. But at that time, I had a good amount of cash in the bank, but I felt that to really reach my goals, to scale my company, I needed to double down, get more cash in the bank, because what that would do is it would provide runway. The mistake that most entrepreneurs make is that they start a business with not enough runway, because if you're starting a business, you don't know what you're doing yet, right? You're trying to figure things out along the way. And so the idea is to start a business, have a lot of runway so you can adapt, you can change, you can figure out what products you want to sell, who your ideal customers are, right? And so taking on this debt, it allowed me to extend my runway. So instead of maybe 12 months of runway, it gave me probably 4 or 5 years of extra runway and time to really invest in my business. The most important thing that these funds provided me, not just my business, but myself and my mindset, was time, right? It gave me time to figure out who's my ideal client, what am I going to offer, how to really build my business for the long term. And so many entrepreneurs, they deal with this where they want to have a long-term vision, they want to work on their business and what it's going to be, but you have these short-term cash flow issues, you don't have enough money in the bank, so now your brain's thinking survival rather than planning for the future. And anybody that has anxiety in your business, your vision goes from this and it slowly starts to shrink where you're focused on tomorrow, the next day, next month. Whereas if you have money in the bank, if you have time to figure things out, it allowed me to expand my vision, to think bigger and say, okay, let me make an investment in a relationship, right? A marketing platform, a video that's not going to make me money tomorrow, but if I expand my vision, it's going to help me make money 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And yes, I'm doing pretty well right now. I've been in business for almost 9 years, but the first 5 or 6 years of my business, that was all laying the foundation. It was all delayed gratification because I had these funds, not just with the money, but also it gave me the mindset to say, let me make an investment. Let me plant a seed that's not going to sprout tomorrow. It's not going to sprout the next day. It's going to sprout 3 years from now, 4 years from now. So even things I did back then with that money, it's probably going to pay off 5 years from now. So think in your business, think in your finances. Like if you really want to build a brand, a long-term business, start planting seeds now. But again, before you do that, you have to have the money to do it, because most entrepreneurs, they just jump into a business, they're all excited, but they don't really give themselves enough time to figure things out. And then they're just focused on, how can I make money tomorrow? What can I do now to make money? And when you start thinking like that, it's almost the antithesis. You're thinking about making money versus making an impact, right? Adding value to your clients, adding value to the people in your business and your community. And so once you think long term, you start changing the way you think about your offers and what you're doing. Am I telling you to go to the SBA and sign off on $250,000 in debt? Maybe, maybe not. I'm saying it because I took on the debt because I had a business at that point. I knew what I could do with it. I knew what I would invest into. So for that amount of money, that amount of debt, it scared me. Yes, I was nervous, but it made sense. If I was starting a business just like I did, I would take 5 grand, I would take 20, like a manageable amount where it's like, okay, if this doesn't work out, I can figure out how to pay it off and get back to square one. But if you start a business with 250 grand or more and you have no idea what you're doing, if that doesn't work, you're pretty much SOL. So this video is about how I paid off $250,000 in debt. So I did pay it off. And yes, I had the loan. It was a big monthly payment every single month, but I managed that for a few years. But at a certain point, I'm like, I scaled my business. Things are going well. I need to get this monkey off my back. Like, I lost sleep over it. At a certain point, it had diminishing returns mentally for me. I needed it, right, to grow. I grew. I didn't need it anymore. So I said, let me have, of course, some of the money I have in the bank, let me pay off the entire loan. That wire transfer was probably the most satisfying, besides buying this house, the most satisfying wire transfer I've ever sent in my entire life, because again, it was just a complete monkey off my back. That was my last debt. I had no credit card debt, no student loan debt, nothing. And so once I paid that off, it really just was a big relief off my back. And so I was able to pay it off after a few years of having that loan, and it's a blessing. So having said all that, there's two key takeaways I want you to have from this video. Number one, watch out for personal guarantees. I was a bit naive at the time and it kind of helped me, but looking back, that was a big risk because that could have wiped me out. I learned from clients of mine and even friends of mine that are much richer than I am. They have much more experience. They're even billionaires, some of them that I golf with, that if you want to make a bet, you want to even gamble on yourself or a business, do something that if it doesn't work out, unfortunately, make sure that it can hurt you, but not kill you, right? Don't bet the entire farm, your entire being financially on one thing, on one business, because anything can happen, right? And so make sure that you don't bet the entire farm, especially if you're taking out debt, on one business. The second and last one is be resourceful. Don't think you need money to solve all of your problems. If I gave you $1 million right now, it's possible that you wouldn't even know what to do with it to grow your business. So focus on, do I really need this debt? Do I really need this money or an investor? Or do I need more hustle? Do I need to be resourceful, right? So many people think I don't have money, I don't have this or that, I don't have resources. It's like courage is a resource, right? Happiness is a resource. Hustle is a resource. And so think about within your means right now, can you possibly max that out first, then focus on getting the debt? That's why at that point in my business, it made sense to take on this financial debt because I maxed out all my other resources, right? I sold my car, I was hustling 7 days a week. I did everything I possibly could to scale my business and even just grow my skills. So that's where the debt made sense. But a lot of people, they don't do all that. They just think the money is going to cover the lack of hustle, the lack of resourcefulness that they have. And so think about, do you really need the debt? Do you really need the money to grow your business? Or do you really just lack the hustle, the resourcefulness? And any successful entrepreneur, any client of mine that's very successful, they're very, very resourceful. They're very hungry. And that's the difference maker. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, always comment below and have a good one.